Cohen, and this is my husband Noam. We say, a lot of people say, hi Norm, or all sorts of other things, but it's Noam. To love him is to know him. Okay? And Cohen is our last name, is the lineage of Aaron the high priest. All Cohens are from that lineage. So he's the one from Israel. He's the Jew and I'm the Gentile, as becoming one new man. So you're seeing a picture of what the New Testament talks about. This is for us, Friday night, as Pastor said, it's for your day, but on Friday night, all over the world, Jews and Messianic Jews and are celebrating the Sabbath rest. But our Sabbath rest, as I love how Pastor loved what we did, it's not a religious ceremony. It's a remembrance of him. So when we have our Sabbath, we have the bread and the wine. You can have grape juice, but we have the bread and the wine, and we bless the bread and wine because that's who he is. But before we have our wonderful time of fellowship and love on a Friday night, we light the Sabbath candles. Now, is that a command? No. But everything that Yeshua did, that's his Hebrew name, he did it visually. Because we're just visual people. Thank the Lord we're visual people. Because we can see and then understand. So there's 2 candles to light on the Sabbath. Notice I don't have in the movies, I don't have a covering. You'll notice that. It's because my covering is my husband and the Lord himself. That's my covering. Now, also you'll see women, a lot of women will close their eyes and will do this over the candles. Well, what they're trying to portray to us and to myself is that we're putting aside the world. Those 6 days that we just came out of, we're being separated. But now we're coming into his 24 hours. Now we're coming into where the Lord says, I am the Lord of the Sabbath rest. He said it. It's all in red in the New Testament. So the first candle is called the candle of remembrance. Okay, why? Because the Lord said, Pastor, I might have to have you do this. Somebody do this. See, we're from Israel. We don't know how to do this. I don't see, it's the American guy. Okay, the Sabbath is going to begin.
We just have matches in Israel.
No, go ahead. We just have matches in Israel.
Just pretend I'm a woman.
Okay, there it is.
Because a woman's supposed to light it.
So it's good. Why is the woman light the candles? Why is it the honor? Because out of Miriam, the Americans call her Mary, but her Jewish name is Miriam. The light of the world came out of her womb. The light of the world came out of her womb. So she has the honor to light the candle of remembrance. Why is the candle called remembrance? Because Yeshua said, do this in remembrance of me. I mean, it's as simple as that. On the night of Passover, which is Friday night, which was a Shabbat, he said, do what I'm doing. Do exactly what I'm doing in remembrance of me. And as we think about all the things that he has done for us, like Pastor just said, we have so much to be thankful for. I mean, on the Sabbath, he opened up blind eyes. He healed the crippled man. He showed them who he was, the Lord of the healer. That's who he is. So he's saying to all of us on Shabbat, remember who I am. Don't forget that I am the Holy One of Israel. And I've come to set the captives free and to come to the lost sheep of Israel so that they would know who I am. Now we go to the second candle, Pastor. Second candle is a candle of observance. Because we are to observe the Sabbath rest. Because it says in the beginning, he said all the days that he created, all the days. But then he comes to the Sabbath. He says, I'm resting. He says, and I've given this for you to rest too. But I've called it blessed and sanctified. So when we enter into the Sabbath rest, he comes and we welcome him to our table. We welcome him, and he subdues our enemies. He says, I'm the king of this table. I've come to fellowship with you and I, as I did with my disciples. So he said, observe and do this. Because in that observing and doing it, you will understand and we will be reminded, you are the great I am. You are the Holy One of Israel. You are the Messiah of Israel. You are the King of the Jews. But you come to bring the Gentile and the Jew as one new man into the fellowship of Israel. And the roots are the olive tree. Amen.
Light it?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know, maybe it's hard to do.
See? Even the Americans.
It's technology.
So in Israel, we keep the candles lit for 24 hours. So our children will say, Papa, Mama, Yeshua is the light in our home. And we thank you that he's brought us out of darkness and into his light. Amen.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You can see why I wanted to do it. My wife and I went and we saw that and we thought, you know what? We want to do that in our home to celebrate that time that we set apart for God. And you know, it's not like a rule or ritual that you have to do, but symbolism is good, isn't it?
Amen.
And I love how these two things start off with remember God. During the week, how many of you say, sometimes I've got so many pressures that if I'm going to be honest, I have forgotten about what God's purpose for my life is by the time I get done with the week. And so every week he knows we got to stop and reset and remember who he is and who we are and what we are all about. And then we have to observe that. Jesus says, now that you know these things, blessed you are if you do them.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with doing something that it has significance to you. Now, if it becomes routine, maybe you should stop doing it. Tell us that part.
Okay, so in Hebrew, Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. That's the first thing that Yeshua said. And it's interesting that he starts with the word Shema, which means hear. He didn't say come or obey. He used the verb hear. And I take it way back at the Mount Sinai, when the Israelites told Moses, we will do and we will hear. You see, in Israel, and until these days, the focus is on doing and not on hearing. And Yeshua got on it already at his time, and he told the Jews, hey, you need to focus on hearing. Hearing the Lord first, and then do. That's why he started with hear. Hear, O Israel. He's calling Israel to hear first. And then he's giving the commandment, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. And I got convicted while I was in Israel that actually, if I really examine myself on a daily basis, do I really keep this commandment? And which is very basic, you know, you don't need to be a genius to understand it. And it really talked to me as I was every day praying to the Lord, how do I love you, Lord, with all my heart? After all, I have a wife and I have friends. So how can I love him with all my heart, with all my mind? And I came up to understand that if you focus on him like that on a daily basis, it improves the focus and the intensity of your walk of faith. And that is homework for everyone. And I'm still struggling with it, but we need to focus on that because this is so basic that if we don't have it, it's like a house without a base.
Can I just make one suggestion, Pastor? I'm an on-team fire team leader in Israel, but it's all over the world. And I made a proclamation that anybody here, it's New Testament talk, that at 3 o'clock your time zone, all over the world people are doing this, that you would pronounce, hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. And when we come together as a body, like Pastor was talking, as a body, when the world sees us as one, there's going to be a movement on this earth. I believe there's going to be a harvest of those that are still lost that will come in because of love and unity.
Well, thank you. Well, you see why I wanted him to speak.